Yo, what is up? New setting. If you hear the birds or insects and such, which I hope you don't, but if you do, just consider that a part or experience of this video as well. And outside in my backyard, I was just journaling a little bit before this. This is honestly just a journal entry for myself and for my future self who probably see this video at some point, because I was reminded this weekend that I first started, when I first started the channel, it was genuinely from a perspective of trying to help other people and wanting to be famous or wanting to be like other YouTubers. Then somehow along the way, it became more for me, and it became more of what I needed it to be for me, because a lot of the times I just said things that I needed to hear myself. And when I started approaching the channel and the video from that perspective, I can go back, revisit my old videos, and sometimes past me is dropping wisdom on present me, which is quite insane. And it's nice in a way because I'm hearing myself and I'm hearing a version of me. It's also tough sometimes because it's a sign that maybe I slipped up in some aspects since I've recorded that video. But then I just have to remind myself, dude, I'm human, gotta give myself compassion and grace too if I fuck up, and just get back on track, right? Like, that's what you gotta do. Life is never gonna be perfect, or you're gonna have like everything sorted out at all times. Like, there's always gonna be something that you can work on, continue to figure out, continue to build on. And this is also simultaneously a good thing because it means you're changing. Like, it means I'm changing. Like, I can look back at my videos and also be like, oh, yeah, I'm not the same person anymore. There's certain priorities that hold more meaning and weight now than they did back then. That's good, because it's life. We're supposed to change. We're not supposed to stay stagnant and the same type of person year after year after year. So perhaps in hindsight, looking back at old videos and being in the same spot, maybe that's more troubling than being like, oh, there's certain things that have changed or shifted. I will say though, on this note, sometimes the external circumstances can shift. Like, you can be in a different setting, doing a different job, be in a different relationship, but still internally feel the same. And I think that's where, for me, one of the most important learnings was the external world doesn't dictate my internal self-worth and internal world. The outside is a reflection of how I treat myself internally, and that then mirrors out into this world. And if I'm being honest, I'm still like coming to terms with that, and I'm still learning to truly absorb that as a learning. Because it's one thing to learn and it's one thing to put into practice. Just all part of the human experience, all part of life that you have to go through. And if you didn't go through this stuff, life would just be boring. Like, what would there be to live for if you can't experience the entirety of the human spectrum of emotions and feelings and experiences, good and bad, positive and negative? I don't know, I think about this a lot, dude. You need both sides, because without one you don't appreciate the other, and without one you won't have the other, because if you don't know what that looks like, you know what I'm saying? But a question that naturally arises from that is, how do you change your internal self? How do you work on your internal self? that's when the work truly begins. You start to spend a little bit more quality time with yourself. You pick up some habits that can help you to get to know yourself better. Of course, I'm gonna say journaling, meditation, spending quality time with friends, family, even yourself, like just treating yourself to things or doing things with yourself without like podcasts or music or a TV show in the background or anything like that. Because we're surrounded by external clouds of opinions and judgments and expectations all the time, and with social media and technology and being so connected so quickly, like that's what we're used to. And it's hard to discern your own voice when you have thousands and thousands of voices in your head. But you gotta do due diligence, spend enough time with yourself, be able to learn who you are, and that also keeps changing along the way because you go through different experiences. So understand that it's all an ever evolving process. And man, these mosquitoes are going hard, bro. God damn. I put bug spray on and everything. Like I was saying, change is the only constant in life. Dude, everything is changing every second. I don't know how many miles per hour the earth rotates or how much distance it's covering in a second or even a minute, but it's immense. Like, it's not stagnant. Nothing is stagnant, and you can't be. If you try to be stagnant, then you're just not gonna experience what life has to offer. Which brings me to another point that I really reflected on and learned this weekend. It's your life, bro. If you don't take care of yourself, who the fuck is gonna do it for you? Really think about that. It's your life. You're the one who's responsible to take action and change your life, create your life as you want it. Who else is gonna do it, bro? It's you. It's your life. It's your responsibility. Like, no one. And that's also one of the things that shifted in my mind from making videos. Now I'm like, I'm not here to give advice to people because I got my own shit to worry about. And honestly, like, I'm gonna give advice to myself. Then there's the thing of, I think everyone just has really different circumstances, and I don't think advice can apply in all situations for all people. Like, it can't be cookie cutter. So anyways, I just think that everyone goes through their life journey for a reason, and they have to be the ones who figure out for themselves like what they want to do and how they want to make decisions, how they want to live life. With that said, I think there's certain tools and resources that are relatively fundamental to what makes us human on a biological level. And I think that's where meditation is something that truly comes in, because we have research, we have data, bro. We have data to support that meditation is good for your internal physiology, like your brain. You retain more brain matter in your brain when you consistently meditate. And that's just one of the things. It also helps with focus. It also helps you to stay calm in stressful situations. Like I said, there's some tools that I think are central to human biology, and we can employ them to become a better version so we can choose to create the life that we want to create. What I really wanted to cover in this video today was the idea of letting go, and how to let go of things or people or experiences in a way that actually benefits you than holding you down. You gotta have to. This connects to my earlier discussion on watching previous videos and watching myself change. I have to be willing to let go of the old me. I have to be willing to let go of the version of me that was doing the things he was doing at that time, because since then I've had life experiences that changed me, and that's exactly what life is about. So I don't have to cling on to that old version, but I appreciate what that version was doing because that version got me to where I am now. So let go of that version from a place of love and care, genuinely. That's gonna be another heavy hitter, a little in a few more examples as well. Then you gotta let go of anger, resentment, anxiety, habits that don't align with who you are now. We have the tendency to hold on to things that make us tick or have a lot of emotional charge to them. So that's why we remember like extremely happy or great or gratitude filled experiences or ecstatic experiences just as vividly as we probably remember the negative experiences like heartbreaks and such, or like losing a close one, or almost losing a close one. It's you, the part of the your soul seeks these experiences. It does because it wants to experience the entirety of the human spectrum of emotions. And being hurt, going through pain is a part of being human, and you have to feel it. You have to feel it, and then you let it go. Then you let it go because you don't let your past affect your present and your future, especially if it's holding you back or tying you down from doing what you want to do in life. You have to, it's hard, of course, it's hard. It's easier said than done always, but you gotta try. If you don't try, you don't take responsibility for your own life, like who will? No one, and even if someone is there to support you and such, like they can't do the work for you. You gotta do the work for yourself. It's just how it is, dude. And you gotta let go so you can make space for the things that you can then create in your life through your intention. I think you get the point of what I'm trying to drive with. What you gotta let go, why you gotta let go. And you have to let go from a place of love. Because if you let go from a place of anything else, you're gonna hold that emotion. Like when you let go from a place of love, you're still gonna hold on to it to an extent. But at least it will be from a place of love. Whereas if you let it go from a place of anger or resentment or hate is such a strong word, bro. I can't believe like just over a year ago or something, like I was still using it for things, and or even people sometimes, and it's like I don't know. I feel like thank you, Lord, and the universe. Like I just feel like I've evolved a lot since then. Where even if I don't like someone, like they're human, bro. I respect it, and you don't have to like everyone, but that doesn't mean you don't practice compassion. That doesn't mean you don't practice love, because love is a state of being, and that's a part of who you are. And when it's a part of who you are and you believe it, you have to practice it. You have to live it. It's one thing knowing, it's one thing believing, and it's one thing to live it. So yeah, you gotta let go from a place of love. And I'm gonna talk about a very personal experience with this, because that was, I think, one of the key moments that really helped me learn and absorb this learning of letting go from a place of love. Turn back time to 2022, just about 3 years ago. Yeah, just about 3 years ago in this summertime, I pretty much, man, it's a long story. But if we turn back time just 3 years, I was going through a heartbreak, a terrible one. I was in love with this woman, and she basically told me she didn't want to be friends. And that was that. And like I haven't spoken to her since then. And it was really tough in the beginning because we had history before that. Of course, it wasn't just like a random person, right? Like this was my college girlfriend or second college girlfriend, and overall, I think in hindsight, like we had a good nurturing relationship, and we were there for each other when we needed it in that time period. And I think I may have just hung on a little too long towards the end of it. But in any case, in that moment, I felt really used and taken advantage of. And honestly, I felt hurt, bro. I hate saying. I was like, I'm not gonna say this word, but I feel embarrassed to share all of this. If I'm being completely honest, I feel extremely vulnerable. But I felt hurt, dude. I felt hurt in the moment, and it was tough. I was also living in a new, or I'd been living in a new state, hundreds of miles away from my family for almost a year. I hated my job, or at that time, I hated my job, and I really wanted to move out of there. But that really was a turning point because it reminded me that I need to let go of this person. And life kind of did that in its own way, and it came from her side rather than from me taking the step back. Which I guess, sometimes when you don't let go, life has to take it away from you. And now I pray for that, bro. Like now I'm praying for things like, yo, if something's not meant to be a part of my life and I try to hold on to it too hard, take it away. Like, please take it away. Like, tell me. Like, give me signs that this is not supposed to be for me, and just do what you do best. Because whatever is not meant to be a part of your life, like, life's gonna take it away. Or that's what I believe and live by. Feeling all that hurt, feeling all that pain, I was just like, oh, she did me wrong, she did this, she did that. I never want to speak to her again anyways. And I'm not gonna lie, for the next few months, that was honestly my state of mind. I was still journaling, I was still reading, like I'm on my shit, like I'm doing all the things, but internally I just felt so hurt and so much pain. And I channeled that into some form of resentment and anger towards this person that I shared life with for like a couple years or something. A little less than that maybe. Yeah. And it slowly was just I don't know, it never felt like I want to be filled with, well, if I'm being fair, I didn't even know I could hold that much resentment for someone, but over time I guess it built up. And it was around the time of maybe 6-7 months later that I finally started to let go of it. And that just came through the practice of journaling, meditation, spending quality time with myself, taking care of myself, and teaching myself these learnings that, yo, it is okay to like feel all these things and emotions. Like there's nothing wrong with this. And you know what? At that time, it also it just happened to be that I was consuming all this red pill content of all these self-help YouTubers. And the gender war has been around now for a couple of years between men versus women. Of course, this is very from a heterosexual, like normative perspective, or a heterosexual limited perspective, of course. But it's probably visible on social media still. I don't know, I haven't been on there in a while. But the general, at that time, I was very much listening to all this self-help content, so I was also walking away from that part and realizing that I can't take on these people's views as my own, bro. Like, I have to live my own life, and pain and hurt, like I said, they're part of the process. They're supposed to be a part of your life, and there's no sort of belief or actions you can take that are ever going to change someone else or someone else's actions towards you. That's one of the philosophies of Stoicism. You can't control other people. You can only control your own actions, because you can't even control your own thoughts. You can't control your actions. And that's the only thing that we should be really focused on at all times. And at that time, then the focus of my action was to let go of anger, let go of resentment, and become a higher version of myself. And like slowly that just blossomed and bloomed in a way internally. Sounds kind of woo-woo and crazy and shit. But when I think about the past now, like most of the times, all I feel is just love, gratitude, and compassion, man. Because younger self had to work really, really hard through some situations, especially in high school and such, bro. Most people are like high school and college may have been like some of their most fun times, and college was fun. Don't get me wrong, but if I'm being fully honest, like I'm not gonna. If I had the chance to relive my high school life, I probably would not. Like I would definitely not. That was it's. I don't know. I like my life now. Like I really enjoy it, and most importantly, I love who I've become. And I appreciate the younger version of me that worked so hard through all those times. And I want him to live those rewards. How? Damn, 20 plus minutes in. Okay. Some of the other things I wanted to hit on was just you can't control others. Mention that. And dude, you can never like protect yourself from pain or hurt in life. The only way to do so is if you build barriers around yourself. And as humans, we want connection, and connections bring so much value and meaning to life that they're worth the pain and hurt to like go through, to feel all the good that comes with it too. But most importantly, every experience, you've got to learn something about yourself along the way or in that process. That's always going to be the realest and the biggest win. And as long as you focus on that, you'll always find value in every experience, whether it's good, whether it's bad. Don't blame others. If you want to, as humans, we have the tendency to blame. I'm trying to think, what do I blame? I think on first thought I do blame some aspect of the situation or even myself. But then I also have to just practice the habit of letting that go as well, because blame doesn't do anyone any good. Not for anyone else, and not blaming yourself either. Yeah, dude, life is full of magical experiences if you choose to look at it that way. And for me, it's magical because every experience teaches me something about myself that I need to know or develop later down the line that gets me to a life that I've always desired, whether consciously or subconsciously. With that said, I will wrap up this journal entry here. If you've tuned in, dude, thanks so much. I appreciate you. Hopefully you got something out of the video. Let me know what your thoughts are, if you did, in the comments below. Yeah, if you have any questions or anything, let me know below too. If you're curious to know something. But other than that, I'm gonna wrap the video up here. I will catch you in the next one. Love you.